Noon. Whew. Got some stuff to get off my chest, get off my mind. Shout out to BGS Igmore. He did a great video on Black Agnostic Speaks. I'm going to share it eventually. Got a couple things to do today, but I'm trying to wake up. So I'm gonna have this conversation with y'all to wake my ass up, get my gears going. Shout out to Sir Pookie. I hate that name. I really do. I'm not gonna lie. You need to get another name. But Artie Igmore, Mr. Z, PK, Charles Faulkner, Artist and MC, BGS, obviously. Trying to make sure I don't miss nobody. I don't think I did. We had a really good conversation. It got a little contentious, but that was more. It got a little contentious, but it wasn't no big deal at all. It ended up being landed really well. And it's good because the thing about it is when people see that me and BGS always agree, or me and certain people always agree, it's good to see conflict and how people respond when certain people are going at each other a little bit. And I still disagree with that shit about light skin overcompensating for height. That shit has its limits. Now I understand where BGS is coming from with that. I have seen that, but you're not taking, like, you ain't taking no 5'5" shit and it's gonna overcompensate 6'4" just off the strength of it being light. That I don't know. But I will give that it can bridge the gap a little bit. I will, depending on the type of chick you're dealing with. And that's where when Ron Will did his select and non-select, if you really understand that, then you get that. So anyway, y'all need to check out, maybe I'll start doing clips. I'll probably try to extract that. I'll get Art of Igmore. Well, obviously, if I do clips, I'm going to share his video. But, so y'all can get that conversation, because that was a 7-hour conversation. But this conversation, we did the Brittany Renner conversation. O'Shea did a video commenting on dudes getting mad about Brittany Renner. We'll talk about that. Shit. So you got O'Shea's video that he did today talking about dudes that are talking about Kevin, shitting on Kevin for interviewing Brittany Renner. Their butt hurt. And I agree with that. Then you got the video BGS did last night, or launched last night, about the Renegades. That's really what the title is about. Then you got the Brittany Renner interview. Then you got the interview BGS was referring to with Blue Jasmine and Sharp, which that's kind of lumped into his video. Then you got Art of Igmore stuff. So this is going to be the cocktail of what we're going to talk about. I know a lot of y'all be like, man, this nigga be always talking about videos and I ain't seen all the videos. I'm like a Marvel movie, Avengers movie. You need to see the prerequisites. That's why I share them on my community tab so y'all will have that. But it's going to be all good because y'all don't need all that. I'm just saying if y'all want to reference that. And all that stuff will be shared in the community tab. So let's jump right into it. So, first things first. And basically, the Art of Igmore stuff was really us exploring economic currency versus genetic currency, versus sexual currency. And that's how that conversation kind of went down. And then certain perspectives based on, like, where you are at those levels. So, one of the interesting things, that was a point of contention, was when niggas that are 6'1", they feel short if they're dealing with dudes that are like 6'5", 6'6", 6'7". I mean, like dealing with dudes on the basketball court or in athletics, and how their perspective can be bent because that's who they are fucking around. That's who they're around, and that we had a little bit of a difference of opinion on that. So it was a good conversation. It really was. Because Art of Igmore, a lot is usually somebody random got to come in there for it to be any contention because of disagreement. So anyway, that is what that is. Shout out, what's up Quentin Jansen? What's up Prince Johnny? What's up Hybrid Ninja? So the first thing first, I want to get let's start with the title. The title is From Muses to Renegades, and why ultimately they will lose. Okay, we know what a muse is. A muse is a female that inspires a woman to do more, that inspires a woman to be better, that his like love, his basically attraction to her, lust for her, love for her, whatever, inspires him to push himself in order to attain the ideal that is that particular woman that he wants. Renegades are once you accept a woman is a renegade, like you accept that she's a renegade, then pretty much it's more of what's your price, because that's really what it's about. Whether that's sexual currency, in which sexual currency is not even a valid price, or economic currency, or genetic currency, because these women want sperm donors. The price could be your seed, the price could be your sexual performance, and then economics. You saw that with Jeff Bezos and Leonardo DiCaprio, where the money that Leo has his own money. Leo's like worth, I think, $400 million himself. So once you're dealing with that kind of money, it really don't matter, except what kind of payout you can get. As far as lifestyle, it really, at that point, I won't say it's imperceptible, but I mean, it might as well be to the chicks that are actually dealing with it. But BGS did an excellent video on the Renegade, on the shit with the Renegade, and shout out to Cousin T-Todd too, because that inspired him to do that video. And then he also mentioned like Minister Jap, and David Carroll was always talking about this type of shit. So we about to cook with it. So first of all, we already said what a muse is, inspiring, all of that. Generally it's associated with the arts. And then you got renegades, which are basically like diesel women. That's what they're most associated with. But BGS asked the question, are all of them renegades? Basically, kind of what Ron Wills, are all of them on the acculturated prostitution shit? And it's just at this point to a level of degrees. And I say, for the most part, yes. I say you can find exceptions to the rule, but most of those exceptions are generally already married. I'm talking about women that are exceptions to the rule and they're still in their prime. I'm not talking about women that they're pretty much on the used car. They've gone from brand new to certified. At least you're certified pre-owned without a kid. We're talking about women that they're pretty much on the used car lot, if not salvage titles, and now they want to be feminine because their femininity is a way of, see, for them femininity is game. Femininity is like a dude using game. There is a lot of people, game is a way of life to them. And when I say that, in this case, I'm not saying it in a bad way. And then you have people that they use game as a means to an end. Unfortunately, and this is true in black community, and this is starting to be true in other communities, femininity is not a way of life for these women. It's a means to an end. And Pink Book Lessons said something significant. She said most women that say that they're alphas, they don't have an alpha spirit. They have a trans spirit. And that was very significant to me. That's exactly what it is. You're not an alpha, you're a trans. Just as much as a dude that acts effeminate would not be called, oh, you're just in your female. No, that's not something that's considered good. That's not a good thing. And it's the same thing with women. Women are not supposed to move through the world in a masculine way. They're not. And women have, throughout history, have been able to have power just through the feminine. And this is why, and it's never been easier today to do that than it's been in history, because there's less of a gap to close, because dudes are not as masculine as they used to be, thanks to masculine suppression that's happened. And that's a video for another day that I do plan on doing, because shout out to TJ, but when I was this is one thing I didn't say when she was up there, Kareem was up there. This suppression was not by accident. That's what it is. The gender war is not men trying to win a war with women. It's really an attack on masculinity, and it's women's attempt to try to contain and suppress masculinity for the purposes. It's literally like colonization. That's really what it is. It's literally like colonization. It's like some shit that the Soviet Union tries to do to satellite states that used to be a part of the Soviet Union, USSR, and Russia tries to control. That's really what China and what they're trying to do to Taiwan. In this case, they're just empowered by a greater force. Not to say that women are China, but women are empowered by greater forces. And this is where it coincides with that renegade shit. So they want to get men, they want men to be masculine as long as men are under control. And that is not some shit that, oh, well, we just didn't know. Bullshit. Because, see, for me to believe that is for me to believe that women are fundamentally dumb. And I know women are not dumb. Women are not stupid. They're not. And this is why I tend to not let women off the hook on stuff like this, because I understand that women are not dumb. And this constant, like, reset of the conversation, women are actively doing shit today that they will in the future say they don't know. This renegade shit, they're going to later on say, well, I was taught. I didn't know. This is what they're going to try to tell the alphas when the generation alpha. The difference now is we got social media where people, and they can't shut all the information down. Well, we can show, no, just like how we can show, I can show in 2010s, in the early 2000s, like 2007 to 11, we can show what was going on. We can show at the beginning of social media, like when women were talking about dating D-boys. You know, they talk about dating drug dealers, like they're dating like engineers and shit. Like, I'm gonna keep it real with you. If you actively had sex with drug dealers, as far as I'm concerned, you're not wife material. Just off that alone. Because that means you've been imprinted by them. If you've been imprinted by them, then ain't no dude, I don't give a fuck who they are. This is why what Jada and Will is dealing with right now. You not go alpha your way through that shit. It is rare that a female actually comes to that shit on her own. I'm talking about when she's actually valuable. We're not talking about she gets to 35, 37, and now she want to get brand new and get married. This is not to say that there's not older dudes that are willing to pick up a woman that's willing to do that, but I'm talking about the dude that's in his prime or has his economic currency going or has his genetic currency going, then dudes are not gonna fall into that shit. They're not. And the reason why economic currency matters is because if you got your economic currency on point, then by definition, you probably have some of the other stuff on point enough to where you can just expand the board. And you can flip cultures if you need to. That's what I'm saying. So in one community, if height is everything, because that's how in the black community, it matters a lot. It matters more than in other communities. Then you just deal with a community where it's not as big of a deal. To where your stuff is going to have more cachet. I mean, for real. Or people that are not willing to be poor for good dick. There's things that dudes can do to expand the game board. Now, is it ever a perfect situation? No. Because female nature is female nature. But you can deal with culture that have been socialized. But going back to the renegade stuff, because that black male suppression shit is a part of that shit. And that shit goes down to the black boys, which people are actively doing and actively talking about what they don't know. And even though you individually might not know, just like there was a book called Jim Crow 2.0. I think it was the woman, I know her last name was Alexander. I think it's Courtney Alexander. I forget. But this is a woman that comes from the higher class, kind of the boule class. And she had her opinions. So this is a black woman, but boule kind of. She had her opinions on black people. It was very, the typical hyper individualistic, pull your feet by the bootstraps, racism don't exist bullshit. And it wasn't until she did her research and really understood how a lot of these things happen at the macro level that she wrote the book Jim Crow 2.0. And she wrote and she showed, and she basically had to change her heart because she saw she basically did her own research, like deep dive research, and saw how these things had just changed. Now, is it as intense as it used to be? No. But she saw how these things are more subtle, but they can be just as impactful. And if you understand capitalism, you understand there has to be losers. And if there's to be losers, part of the way of getting people to be losers is to actually convince them to be losers. which means to manipulate them or miseducate them. And this is some of the stuff that she was talking about. And so I understand, like, when TJ said, she didn't know, I can understand individually that. But I also understand that out of 10 women saying that, 8 of them are fucking lying. And I'm pretty good at deciphering the women that are lying and the women that are not. Kareen doesn't count because Kareen's an immigrant. Or Kareen comes from an immigrant family. It doesn't count. Her dynamics are different. Not the same thing. So I don't even count her in that 2 or 8 because she's not in, her situation is different. And we're talking about Ado's stuff. I'm just saying, her situation, if you're dealing with intercultural dating, is a situation you need to deal with. But women that are taught to value their education and stuff like that's a different dynamic. It is. Because they still come from a 2-parent household. And that's the one thing Kareen wasn't really cluing on. You still saw a 2-parent household. You still saw both of your parents operating as a team. And your mother not undercutting your dad. Not like what we see in our community. So by definition, what is understood doesn't need to be said. It's because you already saw an example of that. So you're never going to fully turn into a complete, now whether you deal with a black man or not, that's up for debate. I'm talking about a Caribbean chick. But what I'm saying is that is always in you because your subconscious absorbed that. And I didn't want to go deep into that. But that's why I just wanted to say in that conversation, it didn't matter. I understand what she's saying. But what she's saying doesn't apply to what I'm talking about. Because if you're dealing with women where they're 3 generations, ain't no man around, then they're not going to, no, it's not the same. And I expect people to kind of understand that, especially people who's been around folks long enough. You should understand that by definition, if you have your parents that are still together, been together, that is a different thing. It is different. So anyway, but with the renegade shit, you got women that we could call it renegade. I'm saying these women are playing zero sum. These women are playing for keeps. And they all are doing it. Even women that are currently married right now are doing it to a certain extent. This is why you got so many niggas that are in these submissive relationships with these bitches. This is why you got 80% divorce rate. And the problem and the things that I try to sound the alarm on is dudes got to start really understanding. Get them likes up, y'all. Dudes got to really understand that this game is ruthless. Even if you're married and your need to want to fall into routine is actually fucking you up too. Because these women are being influenced by all of this shit. This social media is influencing a lot of these women that are married. Giving them ideas of you just got to be married 10 years and then you can get some money out of the nigga and stupid shit like that. And there's not enough counter programming out there. This just isn't. Kevin is like something, but he's not the only thing. And you got dudes where they say, yo, no matter what they say, I'm going to trust my woman. But you are. If you notice how black men, when black women want a divorce, you notice how blind these niggas sound. These niggas act like they just can't conceive. They're like Anton. They just can't conceive that a woman would want to leave them, no matter how bad shit gets. And it's because these niggas weren't paying a fuck attention. And that's unfortunate, because they might have been able to save their marriage if they were. And I don't want to hear people I don't want to hear certain people that they got kind of like intercultural mixes with this shit, because that's not necessarily what I'm talking about. What are you doing? So, you got dudes that they just want to be like an ostrich and put their fucking hand in the sand. A head in the sand and pretend the shit don't exist. This is why you got people, or they want to retreat to the Nation of Islam and be like, everything is, you just alpha your way through it, in just another direction. And in the meantime, you got women that they're playing, Game of Thrones in this bitch. And they're willing to do everything and anything that they can get their hands on, including the society, the social environment, the legal environment. They're literally to the political environment, suppress these boys so they grow up to be units. Lie about the niggas they fucking to try to manipulate the niggas that they want to be their sponsor. to sponsor them so they can keep fucking the niggas they fucking and they keep saying are abusing them. All this goofy ass shit. All this goofy ass shit. So you got, when, like, cause I listened to some of the clips as to why he was playing with Jasmine Blue, and this is one of the reasons why I took the stance I took with Glendon Cameron, because Jasmine Blue was doing the shit she was doing since she was 13 fucking years old. And you can say what you want to say about them niggas, and them dudes. I'm not good. Well, first of all, understand something. When you're dealing with these Hispanics, they operate on they don't talk about it, but they operate on a different paradigm when it comes to that age shit. They just don't talk to niggas about it. That's one thing. So when I hear, that's one thing. And if you notice, you hear a lot of these light-skinned bitches like Amber Rose and all of them, they be in that kind of Latin shit too with that. But with that being said, there's black ones that do that too. I know what it is. I know what it is. I've seen it. And them chicks, you can't be told nothing. This is why you hear women today talking about, I feel empowered sexually. That's that hoe shit. That's that players club shit. That's that what you got to get what you want shit. That's that get cash apps from random ass niggas because you putting up thought pics of shit. Instagram's about to do a subscription service. It's gonna be a different app, but still Instagram. Does that sound familiar to you? We went from OnlyFans about to knock all that shit off to basically Instagram about to join the party. It's amazing how things switch. That shit was supposed to be knocked off in October, and now in mid-November, Instagram announcing they about to get in on the game. There's just too much money being made. But see, a nigga like Glendon is going to be considered monster and scum of the earth. But ain't nobody got nothing to say to that shit being spread out and promoted. And come on, man. Like this is that bullshit. But my point is, these women don't want, and they've told you, they don't want to be wives. They don't. And I don't give a, and here's the thing. I don't give a fuck if a dude can sexually format them. The dudes that can sexually format bitches are really not interested in really committing to one bitch anyway. If you have that ability to sexually format a bitch, you're not necessarily, because what is marriage going to do? Put your money at risk. And that woman can just put bad on you, and most likely will, because if you can sexually format a chick, that means her emotions are in a very hyper state if she decides to break bad on you. You saw that shit with Brother Polite. And all it takes is for them to get a thought to do that. My point is, what's my point of this video? My point is, this shit is nothing new. These women have been on that 304 shit for 10 years now. 10 years. This is just this is just people. This is that shit finally, the mainstream finally catching on to it. But this is what we've been saying. When everybody wants to sit there and they want to say we're over exaggerating, it ain't all women, it ain't, which is like, they make it sound like it's like 20%. We're trying to make it like it's 80%. It ain't that bad. You just mad. All that bullshit that niggas, women said, and dudes said. We were telling y'all, this is where it's at. This is where it's going. It's just not official. And now it's starting to get official. Because now you got the rappers, all of them are saying it up, down. All this city girl culture, all this bullshit. This has been here. This is not new. And this is why a lot of these dudes, when these dudes fall into despair, because that's what it is when y'all be getting mad at Kevin and y'all be wanting to talk shit about Kevin. Glendon was talking about you niggas. He don't even subscribe to everything Kevin says, or a lot, because he says, y'all ain't nobody gonna be no high value man anyway. So a lot of y'all talk about that high value man shit. Y'all not gonna be that. So y'all following that is not even whatever. But when he was saying that a lot of y'all are weak, a lot of y'all feminine, the reality is that shit is exposing a lot of the audience members that y'all are getting mad at Kevin. Kevin was never meant to be this dude. this dude that just beats up on women. There's a reason why we fucking defended him on that, because that's not what he was doing. But a lot of y'all want to be entertained, and that's a form of y'all entertainment, because y'all make them bitches right. And that's the thing that annoys me, because as dudes that are supposed to be logical, y'all are pretty much giving them obvious shit. And now ultimately that actually helps Kevin, because if Kevin has a lot of dudes in the manosphere that turns on him, that actually low-key gives him more credibility. So that ultimately helps him. So that's more of a good thing than it isn't. But you should have caught wind of that. It's when Kevin was talking to Crystal Carrington like he was. He would have did an interview with Carrington. Carrington's too dumb of a bitch to understand that she's not a shrewd businesswoman like she likes to act like she is. Or she figured a nigga wasn't gonna make it, so she bet against the nigga and lost. Same thing Rebecca Lynn Pope. Kevin let that shit be organic. Not know he's gonna go out of his way to beat up on men, but he let that shit organic, so a lot of y'all gonna reveal yourselves. And I know my chat is smarter than that, but I mean a lot of folks are gonna reveal themselves to be goofies. And I've said this on this platform. A woman can pick what they pick for whatever reason. I don't say that because that's just some shit that sounds good. As a man, you have to accept. A woman gonna choose what she gonna choose on. And your job is to basically put yourself in position where you can maximize contacts with females. So the numbers, but I call it the law of favorable numbers. That's your job. And part of that job is you being able to deal with rejection, or if it don't go right, you being able to navigate that, and you being able to have consistent self-improvement. And make no mistake, I have stuff I can work on that too. But a lot of y'all want, a lot of folks, but folks that want Kevin to be this, Kevin called it a blunt instrument. Just why you beat up on Brittany Renner. Look, I don't always agree with O'Shea on that. It's just a business shit. But what I would say about Brittany Renner is Brittany Renner has never targeted black men in the sense of saying black men ain't shit, black men ain't this. Her shit is always about men in general, and particularly athletes and the dudes she's dealing with. And that's the one thing I will give Brittany Renner credit. Brittany Renner talks about the dudes she's fucking. Not the dudes, not all black men. She separates that. Now, y'all may not like how she separates it, but she separates it and says, there's guys that, are not where I'm at because I can get these type of guys. And then there's the guys that I'm talking about that I'll deal with. And this is why she said athletes are dumb. And that's the one thing, I will say. She's talking about the niggas that she's fucking with. Not the niggas, not everybody, and then lumping it in one boat. And if more women honestly did that, we might not have as big of an issue. We may also have an issue, but it wouldn't be as big of an issue. Quite as big. That would be a small step in a better direction, right? So, you interview, and this is another reason. Brittany Renner is also very transparent. See, the reason why a lot of y'all don't like Brittany Renner is because y'all know that y'all have no self-control. Y'all will get in front of a chick like that, and it's not just how she looks, because there's better looking females than Brittany Renner out here on these streets. Like, Brittany Renner would stand out, but y'all really acting like this chick is a dime, and she's not. She got an eye, like, really, if you look at her when she was in high school, her face, she kind of grew into her face. Shout out to Blackfoot for the $5 sticker. And she just happened to have an ass. And let's just be honest, a light-skinned bitch with an ass and a fit body, you niggas are already gone. It don't matter what she do. Because y'all niggas think that shit is so rare that y'all are willing to do anything for it just off the image. And that's a personal problem. But Brittany Renner has a personality where she knows how to run game. She knows how to go into that nice light-skinned mixed mulatto bitch personality. And y'all don't detect the switch. See, me, by the time the switch happens, y'all won't walk away because you're invested. I'm not like that. As soon as the bitch starts wilding out, you get one time, and depending on what you do, and then I can walk away from shit. I can tear myself out of a situation. And a lot of y'all keep saying, you cap. You know I'm not cap. Because I will let shit go before I wind up in a situation with a crazy bitch. A lot of y'all won't do that. This is why dudes are like, yeah, man, you know, crazy pussy. Crazy pussy is the best pussy. Y'all create these, like, ideologies and shit. And this is all connected because this is what exposes you all to renegades. A lot of y'all, their personalities can be trash, and you still will fuck with the chick because a lot of y'all are used to being in the friend zone. A lot of y'all are used to being in the friend zone anyway. So you all will orbit a chick. You'll orbit a chick and be around her and not even have an agenda to be around her. Not even be around her saying, okay, I'm about to deal with her friends. She got some good looking friends. I'm about to get something out of her. I'm about to access these niggas that are around her that got money. I'm about to do something. Y'all don't do that. People become beta male or beta orbiters. And then before you know it, like a year has passed, 2 years has passed. Yo, you talk about we friends. No, you're not. You're like an associate. If that. She calls you when she needs something. And when somebody calls that out, you try to think because she got status that that means something. Because you know her. These are these niggas that be always talking about who the fuck they know and shit like that. Not who the fuck they done fuck, who the fuck they know. If I'm dropping facts, make sure you cash out. Absolutely. But, so I've seen that shit. Where the fuck am I at? I'm like in no man's land right now. But yeah. And this is connected because this is what exposes y'all to renegades, and a lot of y'all can't handle renegades. And this includes and I'm gonna tell you something. The pre-qualified niggas, those are the ones that are most vulnerable. Because those are the ones that tend to be the most gang goofy about the shit. Because they're like, man, she coming to me, so she must like me. She must like me. Lake Boone Trail. Let's go this way. She must like me. And so these dudes, because they don't question stuff as much. Because if they've always gotten, this is that, and I'm gonna tell you, this is why a lot of these niggas operate like PJ Tucker, because they have always gotten some cooperation, so all they know is cooperation. They don't know women that got plans for your ass, and they know how to execute that, which is another reason why I blame PJ Tucker. But when I say blame him, I mean him for his own situation, because I'm like, nigga. You should have knew that you shouldn't have been playing. You should have knew better than to be playing with a bitch that's 10 years older than you. Because it's not just the 10 years, it's the sexual experience that she has had. I didn't say Freeman. I don't know who said that, but I never said if a woman's not wife material, leave her alone. I said if she's not wife material, don't marry her. Those are two different things. I don't know if you heard that out of my mouth. I've never said if a woman's not wife material, leave her alone. And I think that's a stupid statement for anybody to say. That's dumb. That's that fucking super purity, virginal, fucking ultra Christian bullshit that most Christian men don't even apply to. To me, that's dumb. And a lot of dudes think they doing something because what they'll say, they'll take it kind of too far with that. Like, they'll be like, giving your attention, there's levels to the shit. And so I could do that on its own. But that's an oversimplified solution that dudes like to give. Oh, man. But in the practical world, that's not reasonable. Because what you're essentially saying is, you're saying dudes need to completely suppress their sexual. That's not practical. It's just not. It's not. And I get tired of, and a lot of motherfuckers will try that shit. There's dudes that try this. That's been tried. Anton says that dumbass shit. Gab Talk Media used to kind of preach that dumbass shit. That's what them niggas mean when they say you create the single mothers you complain about. Like, they'll talk about, these niggas will be like, oh, well, you create these renegades. No, you don't. Because first of all, these hoes are renegades. They had that mentality before dick really got in them like that. Number one, the dick just consummated the shit. But also, a lot of the dudes that are really running these chicks like that are not the same dudes necessarily on YouTube. So when you say you create the women you complain about, outside of 20% of dudes are not having sex like that. Not like that. Not like that. Like, when I say like that, like, dudes are not having sex to the level that you can get on YouTube and say that the niggas that are talking on YouTube are the dudes that are running through bitches. Those are not the same niggas. And so this is how I know when people are saying that, they're trying to speak to black men as like an aggregate and not really speak to specific sectors. Again, Brittany Renner is talking about the niggas she be fucking, or the niggas that are liable to fuck her at the levels that she's talking about. And so when Kevin interviewed her, a lot of these dudes, like, when you've seen Kevin interact with women, especially like women, like he's talked to these women before. Kevin does not go off like that unless prompted to. That's not, and any of you can see, the problem is you got a lot of dudes that they listen to Kevin first. They listen to his clips. They don't really listen to his actual show. And I think that's where a lot of that is coming from. And that's not all the black manosphere, to be fair. That's not even most of the black manosphere. That's a lot of random motherfuckers where they found them via TikTok and found them somewhere else. And then they're just expecting that shit. But going back to the renegade shit as to ultimately why these chicks are going to lose. These chicks are going to lose because women can only pull that renegade bullshit if there is a level of trust in the system. The shit that greases that renegade engine is trust. Once men stop trusting women, that shit goes out the window. Because the niggas that you want, when I say the niggas that you want, I mean the niggas that are your first pick, that you would basically give the store away for. Them niggas have all the leverage, and they know they have the leverage. They know they have the leverage. And then you got dudes that are telling them, you got a lot more to leverage than you even think you do. Those dudes, this is why it was a dude talking about golden penis syndrome. The markets are going to shift. And so that's what these women are complaining about. That's why these women always talk about they don't like to be controlled and oppressed, because they understand they have zero leverage with the guys they're all chasing. Now, the second market, which is the market that they would be cool with dealing with, those are good guys, as far as genetic currency, economic currency, all of that. These guys are starting to get a lot of leverage. Because again, all these women can't deal with those guys. And then a lot of those guys in that market got some paper too. So you got that market. Now here's the other market. Like, let's say the market to the dudes that are not getting as much sex as they want to. They're not getting the women that they want to. The problem is those guys fall into two different categories. It's either the dudes that want to blame men for that, or the dudes that want to get mad at women for that. And the problem with that is a lot of these niggas are starting to go into really getting angry at women, because they're starting to, this is these people in the prolonged red pill rage. They're in what I'm going to start calling blue pill despair. And women have always been able to retreat back to those guys to try to put political, social, environmental change on the other guys. That's starting to not be true as much, because these women are completely fucking these dudes over in a very real way. And eventually something is going to click. It may not even be with the millennial generation, but it may be with the Zs. where they're either going to not be dealing with certain women just out the gate because they're going to associate those women with problems, or the level of anger that's going to happen is going to be to the point where these women have no protection nowhere. And so even if dudes are willing to play ball with you, the dudes that are willing to play ball with you are not going to be the dudes that have them. They got to play. This is why when women complain about 50-50, 50-50 is two things. It's either dudes that don't need to pay for everything because they like, you gonna fuck for free anyway, or it's dudes that basically they need the 50-50, the dudes that the women try to talk about, that they need 50-50 shit because they're broke. But guess what? It doesn't matter because that's a deal you got to take. And so so what you have is these women thinking they playing around fucking with other females, playing the African kinship shit. You got certain renegade Latins, jumping into that shit. And these are these bitches that they deal with. You can tell the black women the Latin women that deal with too many niggas because they're not gonna pull the Latin community completely. They're not pulling that because them Latin dudes will enforce that shit. They will whoop on these chicks. They will deal with these females early and correct them early. Black men are not willing to do that. Latin men are. That's the difference. That's the difference. Or Latin men got countries of origin they can go to and replace these chicks if they need to. Which is a big reason on the low, which is why a lot of these Latin women do like black men. They get the sexual currency, and they also get more valuable men, which is one reason why there's tension. Because because what happens is we become like the stopgap. We become the fucking stopgap. To where, these women can kind of play with that shit out of it. And that's why a lot of them Latin dudes be mad at us, low key. Because they believe we enable that shit. And to a certain extent, that may be true. Shout out to Friedman's journal with the $5 super chat. Damn it, Ed, I did not say that. What do you think marriage material means? No, wait until a marriage. Just don't obvious problem. No, Freeman, I'm not saying you said that. I'm piggybacking. I know what you said. I'm piggybacking off of what you said. Saying that these are the guys that typically would say what you're talking about. Because I know I didn't say what you were saying. So I'm assuming you heard that from somebody. That's all. I know you didn't say that. I'm not talking about you. Shout out to Jaquan for the $5. I'm talking about niggas like Anton and niggas like that. That's why I mentioned those names to let you know. I'm not talking about you. Whew. Yeah, the non-select guys are not white knighting for these chicks as much anymore. Like they are, but it's getting to a point where these dudes are getting angry because these women they're not maintaining these white knights. What they're doing, and I'm talking about even for like validation. I'm not even talking about sexual access. They are fucking them over, and they're starting to let them know they have a deep disdain for them as well. They're starting to be, because now these women are they're so in love with their ability to express themselves with what they perceive as no consequences, because the consequences for them are not short term. Their consequences are long term. But the problem with long term consequences is once that shit switches, it does not switch back. See, when shit gets bad, women expect when women have a problem for there to be a magical solution to fix that problem immediately. There was a post that said, you notice how marriages are never at risk unless the bitch is mad. That's not how life works. And this is why a lot of these women stay so fucked up. Because when the shit actually switches, then they want this shit to be fixed. And it's not like that. It's kind of like with what happened with, a lot of these, collapses, economic collapses. This stuff didn't happen in a day, but they want a day's solution. Just throw money at it and fix it. Sometimes money ain't enough. It needs time. You see all these motherfuckers throwing money at all these stimulus checks, and look at how much our money is worth a lot less than it used to be. So these last option niggas, these hold the football while I kick the field goal niggas, these niggas are not going to be there as much. And that's, O'Shea did a video on that, saying that black men, there was a survey that said that men in general don't think sex is as important as they used to, post-pandemic versus pre-pandemic. Because all that chasing sex bullshit, number one, you have a lot of stuff that's been funneling under the surface. But once you break that pattern up, dudes are finding other stuff. This is not to say these dudes are going MGTOW. This is not to say these dudes are not willing to deal with a female. But this thing about the chase, because women benefit economically off the chase. Which is why even if they don't want to have sex with you, they still want to be catered to and taken out. So now these women are going to go, they're going to be completely uncovered. And then they're going to really feel it. They're going to really feel it. And by then, it ain't going to be nothing. And these women are not going to adapt because they're already cracking. Women are, you're going to have like 10% of these females that are going to be good for whatever reason. And then you're going to have every last one of them, they're going to be completely fucked up in the game. Just like how you got 10% of women that are making on this 304 shit that they're really benefiting. And then you got the rest of them where they like $2 hoes. Let me throw out some of these cash apps. Appreciate F Holiday for the $10 cash app. Appreciate Shaquille for the $10 cash app. Much appreciated. And we're not even going to talk about when a lot of these dudes start dealing. Like, understand the passport community is really, really small. The passport community is very, very small. So when you talk about what you can do with money, you do better just using your money. It's about using your money to basically make the planet your game board or the continent your game board. There's a lot of strategic shit you need to do. Saying you have money is not what you need to do. That's not going to be enough. Because the truth is, if you don't have life change, let me tell you something. For the money shit, if you don't have life changing money, these bitches don't give a fuck. $100,000 a year, especially like, I don't care if it's in North Carolina, that's not life changing money. $300,000. Like, let me tell you something. If you 6 foot with a big dick, you as a dude, you gonna need like probably $350,000 or $400,000 to match that. And even still, you gonna be coming off of that shit. Like that's literally, in my opinion, what that genetic currency is to that economic currency. That because that woman is all because a dude that can fuck, as Glenn and Cameron say, a dude that can sexually format a female is a rare commodity, and women don't even in their mind believe they can ever deal with a dude that makes $400,000. So it's not gonna so. And Jason Black talked about this a long time ago, where women don't even believe they got access to dudes that make 6 figures like that. Most black women. So as a result, they're really looking more for the sexual currency part and the genetic currency part, because that's more real to them, because that's what they've seen. So even if you got money, you throwing it around, number one, I wouldn't recommend you doing that, but that's never going to give you the cash that you need it to be. Which is why I've often said, if sexual access is your issue, you really need to get your ass in the gym, because that's going to get you the most currency to solve that immediate problem. I mean, it is. I'm not like, and people want to say like on Art of Igmore that I didn't understand. I absolutely understand that. I am under no illusions with that. Like, I'm not saying like when the Jeff Bezos is going over the difference with, the problem with, I was saying with Jeff Bezos and Leo, is Leo ain't fucking that bitch either. So is she really willing to shoot her shot to try to jump off a cliff thinking she gonna fly? Because Leo ain't about to pick her ass up. She's not. So that's the thing that I expect women to be smart enough to do. Because you can wind up like that Donald Sterling bitch that was with him, and then you losing all your shit. Now you want to be dumb like that, you can. From which you came from where you gonna go back. Shout out to Harambe, the $5 super chat. They feel it now, hence all the videos and articles about men not wanting to date sex offenders. Absolutely. And this is where this concept of the table comes from. And I told Obsidian, I was on Obsidian's platform yesterday. I said, yo, they want us to come to the table. They wanted to come back to the table, but on their terms. I'm like, that's not how that's going to work. That's how the Japanese were doing before we dropped them nukes on them. Like, no, that's not how it's going to be. I know what you think it is, but that ain't what it's about to be. No, you're coming to the table on our terms. That's what it is, because you got dudes that you can say what you want to about them being beta and weak. They are willing to check out or temporarily check out the game. And then you got dudes that they have so much leverage it don't matter. And so ultimately women are gonna lose. And even all these chicks that are obese, overweight, all that bullshit, those are the ones that are suffering too. A lot of motherfuckers out here front. So that renegade culture, ultimately, women are gonna lose that battle. They're not gonna win that. They're not. Because that shit can only fly as long as they got their sexual marketplace value. And we know what the statistics are with that in black women. We know what that is. And we know how many black men really got paper out here. We know what that is. So a lot of y'all get mad about Kevin. Like Kevin is doing what he needs to, he's doing. It's not like, oh man, he needs to beat up on that. Like, what are you talking about? So yeah, let a bitch be a renegade. I don't have a problem with, like, I've done business with bitches that are renegades. If they can't use sex on you, it really ain't a lot they can do. And the problem is you all allow them to set the tone from a sexual standpoint. Because a lot of y'all are thirsty. And a lot of dudes accept a lot of shit, which is why I do these videos. What does it take for black women to not be forgiven? Because a lot of y'all want to forgive these chicks no matter what they do. And that's really what they use in order to keep on doing the bullshit. They keep the bullshit going doing that. Because they understand it's always going to be some random nigga that's going to want to save them. Which is why they keep on saying the shit they say to keep the ground fertile for that. And what you're seeing is you're seeing young dudes come into the space, and we're not lying to them. And that means this is why these women want to get niggas earlier and earlier. They want to get these niggas early. Because they're realizing a lot of the dudes, once they get 30, they not playing that game. Shout out to Freeman's Journal. It is all consequences all the time. Black women don't get to say, how do we come together? We don't. You stop the black female fuckery and maybe it'll be less severe. Absolutely. And see, now what you're doing, and see, women never wanted black men to be having a conversation with each other, because eventually, logic is going to win out. People going to compare notes. And they're doing everything they can to try to run interference with that shit by using language, misogyny. They playing. But that's just chirping. And then niggas listen to that because these niggas got a mommy complex. They got a dear mama complex. But see, the problem is those niggas, these women, the women are like scorpions with those niggas. They keep fucking them over. So eventually, you gonna fuck over the dear mama complex out of these niggas. Because these niggas are gonna get bitter. And it doesn't matter, oh, you're just bitter. Yeah, and what does that mean if they are? What does that mean if they are? That doesn't change your situation. Because it ain't like y'all that divest bullshit. Look, go ahead. Y'all, go ahead. On my channel, I say don't go red pill for black women to only remain blue pill for non-black women. So I don't say, nigga, there is no one-size-fits-all solution. And dudes that are looking for the solution, that's a blue pill shit. Because they're trying to land. The height thing is a biological thing. It's a universal beauty marker. The reason why I bring up height is because height is something that's very clear and we all understand it. We all understand it from a hierarchy standpoint, so that's why I bring it up. I bring it up because it focuses the conversation. I don't bring it up because I'm insinuating that it's fucked up. What the fuck? I need to check these out. I don't bring it up because I'm insinuating that it's not fair, it's not this, that's not. I just want to be clear about that. I bring that up because everybody understands. Everybody understands that women are picking based on what they want. So when they say they're dating down, they're lying. They're not. They're dating what they want. They're making compromises on what they want. And they don't value what they bitch that they don't have, because if they did, then they wouldn't make those compromises. That's it. They have every right to make them. But don't come to me because you're upset that the niggas you compromise for are not doing what the fuck you want them to do. That's actually not my problem. And that's what women try to do. Women try to get other men to regulate niggas. They want men that quote unquote are not getting picked to regulate the niggas that they're picking. Bullshit. If you want something different, choose something different. Whether you do or not is of not my concern. Now, a lot of dudes, it is of their concern, which is where they start talking shit about dudes that are getting a lot of pussy. That's when you open yourself up to being a lame. I don't have that. I don't have that issue. And I don't do that, and I don't communicate that in my message. Whew. My motivation. No, I just wanted to say that, Malcolm, just to piggyback off of it. Because some people do be believing that, oh, when you're insecure, you got a border man, short man. No, I don't. That's shit people are projecting onto me because you would have it if you were my height. I'm talking about in general. Because understand something, there's things I don't gotta worry about in this society that a lot of black men do because they activate a threat level in other groups. That, there's things I just don't even have to worry about. Not to say that there's advantages, but I'm just saying. Well, I mean, I can understand what women are saying about you got to be taller than me in heels. Like I said, a woman has a right to have her preferences. But one thing preferences. But at the end of the day, when you see these women, like take Summer Walker, for example. When you see Summer Walker and the nigga she with, or London on the track, she wants to talk shit about her, but I'm like, you was with him and you had his kid. You're not the first baby mama. You're not. You're not the second or the third. Same thing with Future Sierra. So you all know what you're picking. This is not me wagging my finger at you saying you get what you deserve. You're the one crying about what you're doing. This isn't me saying, okay, you happy with the situation you in, and I'm sitting there telling you should be upset. No, you're up here throwing all black men under the bus, throwing propaganda. At least you should do what Brittany Renner saying. Rappers are trash. These niggas that like the rap are trash. Like, these are the niggas you're fucking with. These entertainment industry niggas are trash. Be specific. Don't sit there and then be like all black men are trash, as if all black men have the ability to do to you what all what the niggas you picking are doing. That's all I'm saying. No, there wouldn't be a conversation if these women were just happy sharing men, saying that's just the game. You want the dick, well then you gonna have to share it, and then niggas just gotta be mad. But that's not where our authority comes from. These women have been lying on all black men. Black men are bad fathers. Black men don't care about their kids. Black men abuse women. Black women, like I heard, like somebody told me, I saw this post that said that it was really fucked up, talking about men, black men are don't only act like men around non-black women, and at this point it's starting to get violent. And I said, you stupid bitch, you need your ass whooped so you actually understand what violence really is. Stop using language like that. I'm being violent. Just because you can't get a nigga to do what the fuck you want him to do, that's not violence. But see, women are allowed to do stupid shit like that. Men do that, then we're gonna be called goofy or lame by other men. Women do that, oh well, there must be something to her story. That's the difference. There's regulations in men to hold that shit back. There's not the same thing in women. Women are allowed to do that shit in the mainstream. Men are not allowed to do that in the mainstream. So now it's violence to not pay a bitch attention. And then when you understand that the dude, they're not talking about all black men, they're talking about the niggas they want. So now all black men are labeled as violent because they can't get the dick they want. They can't even get on the rotation. Bitch, personal problem. And that's what these women hate. These women hate, they try to throw babies at these niggas, put them on a baby, put them on babies. And when I say niggas, I'm not trying to say that like I'm not select or anything. I'm just saying in general. They try to do all this shit, and then every black man is supposed to pay for that shit. Or the niggas that date out, because if they're not getting picked by black women and they figure it out, they're not on some I'm going to be with a black woman, I'm going to be a virgin type bullshit. Now I got to worry about being called a coon, or I hate black women because you feel a certain type of way. If you one of these niggas that you weren't getting the value you feel like you should have been getting, and then you decided to take your talents, you wouldn't get the contract that you wanted, so you took your talents to a team that'll give you what you wanted. Now I gotta see, that's that bullshit. That's that bullshit. That's why I say with dudes, if y'all choose to only date black women, that's something you choose. That's something you choose. Hold on one second, y'all. Oh, fuck. That's something you choose. Let me keep it perfectly real. Like, real. Because there's options for everybody. If you deal with the shit that you can control, for the most part, there's options for everybody. It just depends on what length you're willing to go. All right, hold on, y'all. Y'all talking to chat. I bet. All right. Anyway, so this is gonna be the hour where I answer some of y'all questions. Yeah, it's violent. I'm like, y'all play fast and loose with fucking words. Women are big on that shit. And that's even misogynoir, all that goofy ass shit. And I'm like, y'all are trying to make shit like bigger than what it is. But that shit really stuck out to me. I'm gonna try to find that post if I can. I think I saved it. Talk about it's violent. That there's violence in this. Like, shut the fuck up. That's why I'm big on telling these hoes, you know what, then go date out. Go get you a great white man or Hispanic man. Go date out. That's my answer. I know. My bad with that sound. I need to get that fixed. Shit. Go date out. That's my answer to shit like that. Go date out. Go divest. Like, I'm not even gonna entertain that dumb shit. Go divest. Go be free. Go be free and live in swirl land. Swirl world, the gang. No, I ain't making deliveries. You laugh. He like, you make it delivery. Y'all would love if I was like a low-key drug dealer, and this is what we've been doing. Drug dealing with Edward. All right, let's see what y'all talking about. I don't want to go too far up. She tried to clean up her image with Kevin Charles. Yeah, she tried to, but she's not going to be able to clean up what she did. I mean, the book fucked her up. The book fucked her up first, and then she basically did what she said she was going to do in the book. So, I mean, she ain't cleaning that up. I mean, these hoes are not going to clean up their image. That's not how that works. I mean, people are going to still... Like, the thing about it is, what Brittany showed me that she might have someone... She might be able to have a podcast, but it just depends on... She might be able to have a podcast. It just depends. But, you know, Mia Khalifa tried that shit too in sports and it didn't work. All these chicks can't always have that. Now, granted, she got 5 million subscribers. So, I mean, she should be able to get some motherfuckers to listen to it if she gets the right folks in there. I mean, look, she got Ack, she got Kevin. I mean, so she can get people in there. You got Justin LeBoy. I mean, if she want to get into that, she could. I mean, she know porn stars. She know Tiana Trump. And Tiana Trump knows Violet Myers. They know people that's in the game. Airdropping facts. Pookie good for that. Well, you know, what Pookie was saying, because when we did the light skin thing, he was saying, you know, light skin trumps height. And I was like, dude. I let him talk. And every situation, he brought up LaMelo Ball as an example. LaMelo Ball is 6'7". So you can't pick dudes that are above 6 foot and say light skin trumps height. Because let's be clear here, to a bitch, and y'all can say, I don't know this because I'm short. I'm going to let y'all get away with that. Maybe I don't. But all of y'all that's 6 foot and up, are these chicks, if you're 6'1", so I mean you are 6 foot, are you really saying you losing bitches to a nigga that's 6'4"? These short bitches can't tell the difference. That's so my thing is he said LaMelo is 6'7" and in the NBA or in that orbit. Then you got, so of course he may have access to IG thoughts. He said the people that he knew, the shortest dude he could get to was a 5'10" nigga. That was the shortest he could go. And I know from personal experience that if a woman likes a dude, a woman will artificially increase his height. I've had women that say, nigga, you can't be 5'5". You gotta be at least 5'7". And that's how I know she's down to smash. She's down to fuck. Because in her mind, she cannot square with dealing with a nigga that's short. So she just tells me what height. I say, I don't be, fuck it. You know, I ain't lying. Shit. You know, that's what she want to think. I'm talking about when she sees me. And even if I tell her. Yeah. So I know what time it is. Appreciate that, Chris G. So when he was saying that, I'm like, dude, you're missing the mark. You got to show me where a nigga that's 5'8" or 5'7" can overcompensate a 6'4" nigga just off the strength of light skin. That's what you got to show me. Like the closest you'll get with that is like T.I. Like, let's stop. Just like how you can show how social status can override height. Like a dude like Lil Wayne, but that's like overwhelming social status. That's social status most dudes are never going to achieve. Shout out to JC for the $5 super chat. Ed, you think there's a lot of simps in this space, and do you feel like women should be in this space? When people say women in this space, first of all, women are going to be on YouTube. And second of all, YouTube is a public platform. So if dudes want to have these little private spaces, there's ways. You can have Discord. There's ways to have private spaces that women can't go up in. That's what I don't understand. So I don't really care. But the problem is how dudes conduct themselves. And a lot of dudes have this thing where they want to be agreeable with women. I'm going to disagree where I disagree. I'm going to agree where I agree. Because I'm not over here looking for pussy on the internet. Malcolm said, I absolutely agree with. I'm 5'8", I'm muscular, I'm good looking in the face. My cousin is 6'1", and I make more money. If we go to the club, he's getting play. The thing is, I have a better mouthpiece though. Yeah, because I mean, pre-qualification comes before the mouthpiece, and a lot of people will try to use pre-qualification as a stand-in for mouthpiece, and those people are lying. So you got a lot of dudes that they try to say they got a mouthpiece when in actuality, there's a difference between not knowing how to fuck something up and then having a mouthpiece. Those are not the same things. And there's a difference. And I'm not saying that, because some dudes, you can work your way into being pre-qualified. You can lift your way into that. There's ways to put yourself in position to do that. But say the difference. Don't say everything is a mouthpiece. Because it ain't. That's what I'm saying. Sir Pookie likes to play stupid. That boy ain't stupid. He likes to be contrarian just to be. Yeah, you right. Yeah, and I'm like, dude, I'll let that rock. I'm not looking at the dude. I don't care. But he knew what he was doing. He's like, dang, like these niggas know what they be doing. But yeah, when he wanted, like I'm like, dude, you said all of that. None of that disproved my argument. Like, I didn't say, and even to that extent, light skin, you got a lot of these chicks that if they're masculine as hell, they need a masculine dude to feel feminine. And to them, light skin ain't masculine. So I get what BGS is saying, but BGS be trying to act like that's like a default, and it's not. It's not, or not as much as it used to be. Not as much as it used to be. That was what Ramil was saying, basically. Ramil said exactly the same thing, Ed. What did Ramil say? Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. These dudes don't know how to comport themselves around women. I do. Like, I could talk to a Brittany Renner and disagree, but the thing about Brittany Renner is, if you look at that conversation, there was a lot of game in that conversation. Brittany Renner knows how to agree to move the conversation along because it's not a big deal, and she knows how to agree but disagree here. See, most women don't know that. Most women are always in absolute defense mode. Yeah. And the thing about it is, it's like the average height in America for dudes is 5'9". The average height for dudes in the world is 5'7". That's average. That's average. And you got to understand that there's a small number of people that's pulling that number up. There's not this whole overwhelming number. So it's really more people pulling the number down than it is pulling it up. And see, really what you want to really look at is not the average. You really want the median height. So my point is, if you go in other places on the planet, that's not what you're dealing with. Africa's not even as tall. Outside a couple of countries, it's not as tall as you would think it is. It's not. You would think all of them motherfuckers are 6 feet. That's what I thought. They're not. I don't know about all that, Trail. Yeah, they say Latin men are the happiest men as far as relationship to their women. And Latin men are not nowhere near. Latin men are not as tall as white men because they got that Aztec blood in them. This mixed with that Portuguese and Spanish blood. And Latin men are not as tall. And Latin men are not as tall as white men or black men. Like, so, it's perspective. And people talk about, well, I play basketball. I mean, I get all of that. But
Big Mac meal, large Coke?
no, just a large Coke.
Okay, 108.
So they can have their perspective playing basketball and all of that. Now I'm not, but my thing as a dude is you gotta terraform the game board to you. Meaning you gotta put yourself in positions where you can win. A lot of dudes want to sit in their county. Thank you. They want to sit in their county and sit in their local area, whether you in LA or whether you in some rural area, and they want the shit to bend to them. That's not how the world works. Sometimes you're going to have to, and I'm not even just saying leave the country, but I'm saying you're going to have to be mobile and put yourselves in places where you can win. That's what I understood about that select and non-select thing. You need to learn the niches and stuff, and you got to do that by doing approaches, but a lot of dudes don't want to do that. Man, fuck some Coke Zero. And see, a lot of it, y'all just got to do what y'all got to do. And y'all looking for people's permission to do shit. Now, but see, you let certain people talk, they gonna act like, well, man, everybody. I'm like, nigga, you know the difference between the niggas in the church. I hung around, like, most of my friends. Like, I had a couple of people I knew that was 5'6", 5'7", but most of my friends were 6 foot and up. They were 6'4", 6'2", 6'1", 5'9". So this bullshit about everybody, like, everybody ain't in the gym. Like, you can kill me with that bullshit. Now, it may be artificially inflated because you in LA. Yeah, that's it. Appreciate it. Yeah. Like, so that bullshit. You ain't telling me you walking in McDonald's and everything in your eye is going bullshit. Because you'll never tell me that because you around females that are taller in the basketball community that all bitches are like that. You would never say that. Let's stop it. Just like women would never say, well, I think all women are tall because I play basketball. They know that's cap. What are you talking about? I don't even hug my own mother. So, I don't hug women in general. And why would I hug a tall woman? Why would I do that? What was the purpose of me doing that? Yeah, you talk about Sarpookie. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, he was trying to act like, man, I don't know what I was doing. You take it personal. I'm like, it ain't about me taking it personal. Because if I tap on something that he don't like, then he gonna be mad. That's why that other 19-year-old dude was calling me bitch ass nigga. He gonna whoop my ass and shit like that. See, they'll do that shit until they get triggered. And then all of a sudden, it's all about motherfuckers wanting to fight. But anyway, y'all, it's been a great conversation. I hope y'all have a great Sunday. I'm going to end this. With that being said, this is Edward signing off. Peace.